my sleep pattern is really screwed up. I'm sure as we age, we all notice that our sleep pattern has changed dramatically. I know mine has. So I'm up, figure, try to be productive. I'd like to get into a topic today of something that may appeal to anybody watching this and have some of the same questions. And the topic is relationships. What's a good relationship? I don't have a lot of good relationships in my life. I've had a lot of long relationships, but I can't say that I would qualify them and say that they're necessarily good relationships. So what's a good relationship? Something that goes both ways? Is that what makes a good relationship? Well, I haven't had a lot of those. I find that I've been involved in a lot of relationships where I've done a lot of the heavy lifting, and the other party has done very little lifting at all, or a fractional amount compared to what I feel I've done. One thing I'm particularly good at, and maybe you are as well, as when I feel somebody's got a problem, I will call them up and say, what's going on? You want to talk about it? And as they talk about it, and I hear what's going on in their life, they geographically may be nowhere near me, but I'll say to them, do you need me to come over? Or at the very least, I'll say, what can I do? How can I help? That is a phrase I've heard very little coming back to me in my life. And perhaps you've heard the same thing. I was married. My ex-wife, honestly, is a very decent person, or was a very decent person when I first met her, and I'm sure she still is. I haven't spoken to her in about 8 years, so I couldn't say. But that was a phrase I almost never heard from her. We lived together. We cohabitated. We never had children, unfortunately, but we lived together for a long time. Of the 30-some-odd years of constant exposure, we took a couple of years off here and there for bad behavior or good behavior, depending on how you look at it. But more than once, I had to bail her out of a situation, and that's what you do for a spouse, of course, medical or financial, whatever the case may be, or her folks or whatever. And I would say, yeah, I'm helping out, I would put my money where my mouth is, as the phrase goes. Other than one or two situations where I had some health issues of my own, I never got that back. Never got that back from her. Okay. I have other relationships in my life, without nailing them down to the type of ones that they were, but they were close personal relationships where I would help the person out, take them to and from doctors and whatever the situation was and all that. When I have a problem, or had a problem when they were talking to me, which they aren't now, never heard the phrase, hey Stan, what can I do to help? How can I help you? Never heard it. Never heard it. And also when I would do things for some of these people, never a real thank you, not even lip service sometimes. A thank you costs you zero money. It can be completely full of shit. But if you say it, maybe the person will buy it and feel better about what they've done for you. I don't know why it's so hard for a lot of people to do something like that. So getting back to relationships. So what's a good relationship? Give and take, obviously. You can both benefit from it and count on each other when there's a problem. What else makes a good relationship? Do you have to be geographically with the person in the same room to have a good relationship, or can you do it through FaceTime and virtual nowadays? These are questions I have that I don't necessarily have an answer to, but maybe part of your life is it's part of mine. Right now, I'm in a situation where, as you know, I have medical issues, and none of my friends are geographically here with me in the region. So if I go to an ER, which unfortunately I've done way too many times, and they say to me, well, who do we contact? I tell them, no, don't. I have nobody. Nobody that can be here in matter of hours or something like that. I have one friend down in Leesburg who obviously could be. It's only 25 miles away. But I wouldn't put that on him. He's a good friend. I will say he is a good friend. He doesn't like to drive to my area too often, but he is a good friend. I go down there fairly often on business anyway, so when I'm in the area, I stop by and say hello, or we meet for a soda, a cup of coffee, whatever the case may be. But other than that, geographically, I have nobody within several hundred miles. But getting back to what makes a good relationship. So if you have these relationships that aren't satisfying, which I'm sure we all do, the question comes up all the time, is it worth keeping this as a relationship? If I'm not getting anything out of it, why do I want to hold on to it? But letting go is hard as well. So I'm going with this is, how do you make the decision of what's worth keeping and what's something that you can just say, it's not working and we'll move on, or I'll move on. I have no problem talking to anybody in any situation as long as it's done in somewhat of a civil manner. So if I feel a relationship is going to hell, for lack of a better phrase, I'm willing to talk about it. And you can take all the shots you want at me. I'm a big boy. I can stand on my own 2 feet for the moment and take a little bit of criticism, and I'm happy to take it. I don't like to hear it, but a lot of the criticism, if it's valid, I already know it. I never claimed to be a perfect person, and I do consider myself empathetic for other people's feelings. I'm sure there are those that would say I'm crazy, I'm lying or whatever. No, I feel like I am empathetic. I think that's part of the package of depression. It does create some empathy for other people. So I'm willing to take the shots. But the question is, are you willing to take the shots, or criticism, as it may be, back? A lot of people I can't do that with, I've noticed over the years. And so consequently, we'd have little or no communication, because they have no problem taking, giving criticism of me. But if I say something to them, well, you're being a smart ass, or you're just being obnoxious. Well, you just hit me with 5 things that you don't like about me, but I can't give you back 1 or 2 as part of a conversation. Now, I'm not doing this in a hostile manner. I'm sitting here, at a table with you. We're trying to talk it out, and yet you don't want to listen. But you want me to listen to what you have to say. Well, I've been in relationships like that most of my life. I don't consider those really relationships, because you never seem to get to a common understanding. And the holiday season is coming upon us fairly soon. We're going to be at Labor Day this weekend, and then starts, the holiday season of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the case may be. And a lot of times people want to get together for those things, and it's nice. I can't get together with anybody because I don't have anybody. But in times past, they were always a source of contention for me, because I was always told, watch what you say. You can't talk to this one. You can't mention this to this one about that. Or you can't talk about this guy's situation with his wife or his kids or whatever the case may be. There was always things you couldn't say. The salvation in my particular case was, I was a working musician for many, many years, as you already know. And as often as possible, I would work on holidays because I didn't want to get into these kind of situations. And I also wanted to make the extra money. On this video that I'm talking to you through today, I'm just looking to see if there's any answers out there that can be given to me or to anybody that I may want to share this with in another video, about what do you do when you get to the point in your life where you realize your relationships are minimal and you've tried and people don't respond. Do you just say to hell with it? Or do you try to do something different? I've noticed on YouTube, there are some people I've noticed, some very attractive women, by the way, who claim they're alone in the world and they don't have anything going on and this and that. And, well, I'm not an attractive woman that doesn't have anything going on. I am whatever I am, looks-wise man that's just basically saying I'm alone, and I'd like not to be, but I will keep the status if I have to, as opposed to being in a toxic relationship. So as disjointed as this one was, as they usually are, I'm just throwing out ideas here, and the idea I'm throwing out is, what do you do to maintain a good relationship? And when it's not good, are you willing to cash it in? These are just questions today, folks. That's all I got. I hope you do a like or subscribe. These videos are for mostly people that are over 55 or 60, obviously. And if it's not your particular cup of tea, or it doesn't relate to you personally watching this, just share it with somebody you know that maybe can get something out of it, or maybe want to give us something back. I'm always looking for good comments that I can share, and criticism I can take, as long as it's done in a civilized manner, like I said. If you hate these videos, and I can't say necessarily agree or disagree on it, tell me how I can make them better. Like I've said, this is not a professional operation. I'm here to share some ideas with all the folks that maybe have some similar questions or comments. Have a good day, folks. See you soon.